figure something else out. So I want to get started. Oh, by the way, I host a show called Poetry Durbar. It's on the screen. It is poets and conversations with poets and readings, and please do check that out. It's a free show on Savan, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Ghana, all audio apps. Okay, I want to introduce you to our first poet, Ruth. Ruth Padel is right here. She's an award-winning British poet, scholar, and conservationalist, professor of poetry at King's College London, fellow of the Royal Society of Literature, author of Tigers and Red Weather, Learning to Make an Oud in Nazareth, and the best-selling Darwin, A Life in Poems, a verse biography of her great-great-grandfather, Charles Darwin, who many of you have heard of. Her new book, Beethoven Variations, is a poetry journey into the life of Beethoven. Ruth, would you like to go up there?
Sure.
So you can take the stairs over there.
Oh, I see. Go down.
That mic is already working, so
okay.
you can go down the stairs up there. Yeah, you don't have to jump.
Oh, good afternoon. It's amazing to see so many people who love poetry and so keen on it, and it's just such a place. And thank you. So I'm going to take my 6 minutes, not a drop over. And I'm going to be reading a poem for Scheherazade, whom I think the old Persian, her name was Shahrazad, and its name means City of the Free. And the two words you will hear through this, I think, to look out for are power, because poetry should be something that can speak truth to power, and there's a great deal too much power in the world at the moment, power and story. The poem is called The Storyteller, The Bedroom, and the Sea. A girl sits in a bedroom by a mirror. Her hair falls through the air like water. Her skin is lucent as a plum. You can see the veins fanning out like branches against gold sky. Torchlight flickers on her dress of flame-colored silk, the bed of ivory. There is no turning back. She's out to save us all. Her name means City of the Free. A girl sitting by a mirror, waiting for footsteps of the Sultan. Her mind climbs up like a snake charmer's flute, remembering stories of the city of brass, a dervish, a fisherman, a gold ring. Tiles on the wall behind are tunnels into deep space where shadows gather trembling in the lamplight, because these shadows have seen it all before 1,000 times. The beautiful girl, a bed of ivory, and the mirror hung with beads of lapis, which should keep out the evil eye, and don't. Somewhere in the palace, a musician is singing a love song, but the sheikh is fizzing with misogyny. Curls of smoke rise from a bronze incense burner shaped like a lion, because lion is how the Sultan sees himself. He is roaring his pain at all women. He is not an idiot, only a wounded and narcissistic man. He has slept with and then beheaded 1,000 girls who have waited here for him like this. A precipice where love should be, and 1,000 frightened faces on the block at dawn. She has put her body in the Sultan's power to reveal to him the riches of her mind. Her only weapon is the art of invention, of what happens next. She is going to open a window to the sea we all swim in without knowing, the sea which gives oxygen, the blue ocean of stories. Her hair falls through the air like water, and she holds us all in the dark of her mind, where her first story is opening in the last rays of sun. She is seeing a flying horse, a city of magicians, and Sinbad's magical boat. What she doesn't know is what will happen in bed. But she'll go through with it. And afterwards, she'll ask to see her sister one last time and hope the Sultan will feel sorry for her. so her sister can ask for a story. She imagines the rustle of the Sultan tiptoeing back to eavesdrop to listen. That girl in a bedroom blooming with shadows. Let's say she's you. You with the blade of an axe on your neck. You sentenced to die in the morning, setting out on an ocean of stories to save your life, save all our lives, through art. Can you stand on the edge of a cliff and shout, yes, to the dark of the moon? Can you go deep within yourself to where the stories are at the bottom of your heart? After a night of despair, bruised to the bone, when you hear the tread of the sheikh, his hand rattling the door, put on your best flame-coloured silk to tell your story. Don't beat yourself up over what you have or haven't done. Sultans are marching upstairs all the time, all over the world. If you set out to deal with him, you will have to go into the most unbearable feelings you will ever know. Be yourself. Lead the Sultan, whatever shape he takes in your life, to a window looking out to sea. Let the occurring world empower you, and when you hear his footsteps, don't even dream of trying to be careful. There are roads you didn't travel because you chose this path, the path that has brought you here. This is your journey now. Go into the bedchamber, do what has to be done, and make a story of it. So here are two sisters, one telling a story to the other, and a disturbed man who has too much power is listening behind a screen of filigree to a girl who has no idea if she will be alive next day, but is steering her story as calmly as if playing the zither. And your stories will grow from what you are going through, until each moment is a window opening on a sea, because no one can take away your power to make a story from your own unique adventure of being alive. Don't worry if the story you are telling is true. What matters is being true to yourself, and that your story has power to enchant. If you have taken a few wrong turns in the city of disappointment, remember Scheherazade. Remember that you are Scheherazade, and there will be a ship for you, a harbour, a way through.
Yes. Thank you, Ruth. Our next poet is AJ Thomas. AJ, you can start heading over. I will introduce you. AJ is a poet, writer, translator, and editor with more than 25 books to his credit. He was editor of Indian literature and now serves as its guest editor. He taught English in Benghazi University in Libya from 2008 to 14. He was also a senior correspondent at IGNOU. He's the recipient of the Katha Award, the AKMG Prize, and the Vodafone Crossword Award, a senior fellowship from India's Ministry of Culture, and an honorary fellow for South Korea's Department of Culture. AJ, stage is yours.
Thank you, Lakshmi. First of all, let me thank the organizers for inviting me here. And these are my latest poems, which were published recently in Jayanta Mahapatra's Chandrabhaga. The first poem is titled The Dogs of Ajitgarh. You know, Ajitgarh is the Mutiny Memorial. Those of you who listened to William Dalrymple's speech on the anarchy will see connections here. There's an introduction in prose. The Mutiny Memorial, the Gothic tower built in Delhi to commemorate the 3,000-odd English officers and men who were killed in suppressing the rebellion known as the First War of Independence of 1857, killing hundreds of thousands of the residents of the city and the rebel soldiers, stands a few meters uphill along the ridge road from the Hindu Rao Hospital, formerly Fraser House. This is also the spot where Taimur encamped and oversaw the slaughter of more than 100,000 Delhiites over 3 days and nights in 1399. Fraser House, which served as the command center, connected to the slaughter of several hundreds of thousands of Delhiites in 2 episodes 5 centuries apart, also featured in persistent ghost stories narrated by famed local raconteurs. The Mutiny Memorial was renamed Ajitgarh, or the site of the unvanquished, by the central government on the 25th anniversary of Indian independence in 1972, and a new plaque was installed describing the enemy mentioned in the original inscription by the British at the site as, I quote, "the freedom fighters and martyrs of India who fought bravely against the repressive colonial rule in the first war of independence," quote close. I, along with my daughter and my niece, visited Ajitgarh and other nearby monuments in July 2016. The visit inspired the poem, The Dogs of Ajitgarh. Crushing a rebellion is the bounden duty of all power centers. Over the blood of the warriors of the first war of independence was built this mutiny memorial to celebrate the company's dead. A mid-July afternoon, post-lunch inertia-ridden, we trundled up the ridge road, the air dripping humid beneath the thick summer green. We swim up, breathing through our mouths. Climbing up the base, we hardly make a round on the plinth when deep growls from the dark recess stop us. Several pairs of glowing eyes flash. The first one stalks out menacingly, blocking our path, followed by another, then another, a couple more in a convex arc formation. Loath to brook history's twist, Ajitgarh. The next poem is Sarmad Shaheed, the martyr Sarmad. Recently, I visited the Juma Masjid area in Balimaran, which inspired 2 poems. The first one is on the martyr Sarmad, who was executed by the Emperor Aurangzeb. "The king is naked," cried the innocent child. "Power is naked, the unsheathed sword. Truth is naked too. Innocence can see it. The two often clash in battle, sparks flying. Sticking to nudity is the ultimate truth speaking." That is what Sarmad did, the absolute unconformity outside the frames of the established. If Mansur al-Hallaj declared, "I am the truth," chanting Anal Haq, Sarmad did something similar, saying only the La ilaha part of the kalima, leaving out illallah, perhaps implying there is no God outside but within oneself. Dazed by the unraveling, Aurangzeb had him beheaded outside the eastern gate of the Juma Masjid, where the headless Sarmad danced on the steps, carrying his head in his hands before giving up the ghost, as the legend goes. Standing on the very steps, I frame a picture of his red dargah below with the Kila-e-Muwala, or the exalted fortress, which was eventually reduced to the simple Lal Kila to suit the latter-day reality of total decrepitude, looming in the skyline behind. The third one is Ghalib's Haveli in Balimaran Road. In spite of being in Delhi for the last 22 years, I was visiting Ghalib's Haveli on the Balimaran Road off Chandni Chowk for the first time. So that inspired this poem. The timeless poet shares his home now with a shop. Never mind, faring better than many of Delhi's beloved bards who upheld the Ganga Jamni Taqseeb and yet have left no earthly trace. One can only gaze around the relics of his life with a lump rising to one's throat. Such exalted conceits, wordcraft, humor, unbending sense of honor bruised by history's nasty turns. Perpetually in debt, yet never perturbed in his angelic self. Homeless, ever roaming in spirit, he would have little value for a majestic dwelling place like this. He would even forgive the garish facelift given to his long-lived in one-time quarters. He knows these and the countless tomes churned out about him are well-meaning attempts to keep his memory alive. He would even forgive these my lame words in his name. Thank you.
Thank you, AJ. Asiya, if you could please go towards the stage. Our next poet is Asiya Zahoor, who has written books and articles on the literature of exile, Kashmiri literature, and psycholinguistics. Her film, titled The Snitch, has won the Critics Award for Best Film at the 2nd South Asian Film Festival. Her latest collection of poems is titled Serpents Under My Veil, which she'll be reading from. She's recently won the Sanford Taylor Fellow at Cornell and is currently working at a college in Baramulla, Kashmir. Asiya.
Thank you, Lakshya, for this introduction. Thank you, JLF, for inviting me, and thank you all for coming over. So the poem I'm going to read is from this collection, The Serpents Under My Veil. And the poem is about a tree, a chinar tree, which is a plain tree in Kashmir. And it tells its story. It's called Story of a Grand Old Chinar, Kashmir's plain tree, in love with a young girl. I have seen her eyes searching my green shade in summer when elks emerge from the forest. The girl hid in the hollow of my womb, playing Zuni, yearning for Yusuf. I turned green to red to yellow to brown to saffron on fire as she flicked seasons, waiting for her love. Peals of laughter playing luckered lullabies born under my branches. So many stories of childhood. Now, a bent woman, flesh crumpled like the first draft of a poem, discarded as an afterthought, peeked through windows at her father, peace be upon him, with bare hands pounding sheepskin stretched across the belly of a long-necked clay tumbaknar. In Farsi, chi is what? Nar, fire. Chinar, what fire? Whose lilt? I, proverbial fire, chinar. Her smile softened furrows. I was a tad jealous as she kissed her lover under my branches. I stole her shadow, hid it deep within me, resolved never to give it back. Now she looks for it everywhere. Enraged, she wants to burn me down. How dare she? I am the invisible memory of the size of the truant lip locks. Am I not the link to the silk threads she tied to wooden tulips at Sufi shrines? Will not the dream threads burn down with me? Will not the aftertaste of the kisses vanish? I know I'm stalking the surreal, dreaming of an odd consummation of a young girl by an old shady chinar. I'm keeping watch at the arched paradise while toothless history snores under my shade. The roots of my history are in Kashmir. The history of Kashmir is in my roots. The sun caresses my branches. I give the sun my golden streaks. Many loiter by me. So who has carved amnesia on my bark? Leisurously, not just heal. Trees don't remember their roots. Open wounds, free sparks, stirring Zuni to sing lol ghazals. I hum the dirge of your language, whose letters were enslaved. Paper having left the tree in a peak. Jhelum flings her waves at pyres, breaks banks to drown Srinagar in the flood of the century every 3 decades. Shikarawalas row amorous shikaras, heart-shaped oars undulate a full moon. I shed memory gurgling, men can't be my saviors. My distress won't bestow daring. I await men with chainsaws to behead me. Oh, the vanity of violence, the headless chinar still says resistance. Standing tall is my dharma. Once bountiful, I am now a registered state property. A forest swirls, wind calms, mountain crags under the gunmetal sky. A stone pelts itself across the white turban peaks, across festering wounds of empaulated stump after stump after stump, ricocheting on hamlets of jackboots who threw bashly in a single file on the firmness of shriveled breasts. From tree of life, goodbye to life. Chinar fear, chinar cure, chinar, chinar, chinar. What fire is this? Whose fire is this? Fire is. So the second poem is called Gifts for My Daughter, Not Yet Conceived. Sorry, I have a bad throat. I gift you millenniums of confusion in my genes, muffled chromosomes at double X to excavate epiphanies. I saw doubt in my womb, watered with fears. I gift you my unsettled struggles, uncommitted sins, unnoticed virtues, unread and half-read books, 3 by 2 inch laminated paper in the name of identity. I gift you a rugged map carved from cracks between divorced nations. I gift you unyielding obsessions, unexplored passions, a horoscope of cusps, and Hamlet's unfinished line to the valley, to be or not to be. They say I can read one more, so maybe this. This is a Delhi poem. I sip cold coffee in Cafe Turtle, Khan Market, New Delhi. I cuddle in a calm on a green wing chair, daily special on the blackboard. Lebanese platters, cinnamon roll, my smartphone rings home. I step out of the Turtle Terrace, shout, "Are you able to buy food during curfews in Kashmir?" I feel guilty. I'm sure at home they've stripped the last green from the leaves. I straighten my face, stroll back in. 2 grey-haired silk saris blend kehwa with broad-minded politics. 3 Feb India kurtas talk profits, their bellies prosperous. Espresso machine hisses my name. Is caffeine tricking my brain? Placard on the door. Have you got a Cafe Turtle loyalty card? I feel like a hopping clown, inverting loyalties. Less glances across the room declare my reverse solidarity. I huddle at my table, stiffen with cinnamon crumbs. I hate crummy tablets. I unfold a fresh paper napkin to map my life, a farce in progress. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Asya. Our next poet is Rochelle Potkar. Rochelle is a Bombay native who writes fiction and poetry. She's the author of Paper Asylum, as well as 4 Degrees of Separation. Rochelle.
Good afternoon, everybody. I will share with you 3 poems. This first poem emerged from a conversation I had with my translator friend who was translating Sufi poet Sachal Sarmast's verses. And as she spoke of the challenges, I read that he lived in Daraza and he never left Daraza. To Daraza. Those who do not know history climb the Thar Express, not its brumal roofs. As hibernal winds destroy distance, cloud specters over chula smoke. From barren trees, dusk falls beneath the international train, blood seeping into benumbed fruit. The engine noise suicides at 0 point station, final point of immigration, perforated edges of identity, season tickets of contraband memory. The air is nippy along the years, long checks of passport, blue, green, a stinging wait for visa in sunset gale, freezing through smokes from BD number 30, smells of kebabs and parathas under warm blankets. On the other side lies a dragnet of overused British laid rails for trade. She peels Sachu's verses. from a locket over her frayed neck. An unused key of a rusted trunk thrown into a well of hewn ancestors years ago. She quenches starlight in Sachu's suras. Where crowds are, there I am not. Those who do not know history click images of the sun-rouged galaxy, blood thawing in skies, chocolate biscuit wrappings fleeing to Arctic metal flows, of a carriage of new border crossings, in old silences of 1 million basal sighs, disemboguing 10 million permanent scars. She now translates the Sufi's verses. Our bond was created for a reason. Slumber has created illusion. Endless ones from endless books, moving to fervid cause. Smuggled agony in an Amritsari museum for refugee things. Sindh did not remain, a Sindh mail connecting. At Munabao, the TTE pokes bags investigating vegetables in a hot case, pulling down beddings, opening suitcases. Everything is a weapon. A 1-year-old child, a cone of boiled groundnuts, almonds from a tin skittering. The road to Sachu is fraught in old Gurmukhi, words slipping over postmodern tongue. I was sitting by the roadside when the path became clear. No one wants its cipher to enter Mehran's alluvial plains, the Indus River, the Thar Desert, the Kirthar Mountains. Sacho himself was in search of peace, for long, to forgive the hangover from an inflamed life. Freezing joints, the train trundles, wire borders, mass troops, customs officers. She will go to Karachi, Hyderabad and Sindh, Quetta, in this train for the poor, where everyone carries temperate gifts. Coconuts, elaichis, pressure cookers, pan, cashew. Many don't fill forms or no to signature. They rely on one family member's passport for all. A married daughter who misses chow meow from Hyderabad, India. A childless Bilwada mill worker traveling to see his nieces. A Kashmiri shawl merchant visiting his father's grave. An indoor jeweller's parents living on both sides. A Bollywood hopeful who loves India more than her parents. A Nalanda tailor adopted by an Indian uncle for a better life. A clerk from Palanpur. A peanut seller questioned about the limits of the South Asian Free Trade Agreement. As a train stalls, time in limbo, she translates Sachu. If I interpret love for all times, 100 resurrections will pass, and yet my commentary will not end. She waits for momentum now, in any direction. The Sehwa fair of time, the explicit march of reminiscence, or just plain exaltation, a levitation. The second poem, there's not much to say about this, if not the coherence of our times. It's called Surrender. If I were a country, you would be my journalist. And because you are not an empty-headed bloke out for a quick fix, but investigative, committed, idealist, I would have shot you down a street and left you to bleed. If I were a country, and you, my journalist, it would be a civil war, one too many. Revolutions, changes in governments. I would have jailed you and kept you on CCTV. If I were a country, and you, my journalist, I would have played a wait-and-watch game to see who wears the other down, sleep-deprived, akin to a Russian sleep experiment. But the more you stare, the more beautiful someone becomes. Remember? Many pass the cellars of my mind, few the cellars of my heart. I would blink first. I would give in from dictatorship to democracy. If I were a country, and you, my journalist, I would let you run a free press and media to change the face of an entire nation. Thank you. My third poem, I have been thinking about not just history repeating itself, but people in history, reincarnates or avatars, repeating the same acts of history, and thus history repeating itself. The Jallianwala Bagh mystic. In the community hall of genocide refugees, everyone has collective memory. When you are dead, the reasons for your death become gibberish. The singer of Auschwitz tells of the barracks he last met his loved in before gas chamber. The Rwandan of the hacking at his neck and how thoughts on the universe spilled faster than blood. The Mirchpur Dalit of fear and fire roasting his 70-year-old Haryanvi body. An Afghan of measuring against a linchpin, still holding his head like a chalice. A Native American withholding her disparate body and Spanish fetus. The 6-year-old girl from Sandy Hook, possessive of a pink ribbon. The Haitian Creole practicing his R in Perigi to avoid ethnic devastation. One of the mentally ill from the T4 1941 program. We all sit at this table, joined by the Jallianwala Bagh mystic's tune of why is the earth always russet? The Jallianwala Bagh mystic died in a well with 120 frenzied others. Death by wishful drowning. Sweet Amritsari waters filling his nostrils, sockets, lungs, stomach, gut. No one disowns death. No one disavows treachery. You recognize propaganda as real, fake narratives, gospel. That General Dwyer could have teleported 100 years ago on 13th April 1919, son of an Irish farmer, shepherd on a diet of hunting, snipe shooting, found weird sheep flocked together and fired from a machine gun fitted on an armored vehicle. Until Uddham Singh pulled 2 bullets down his brain 75 years later. All sheep going to the pastures of redemption. The Jallianwala Bagh mystic plays his one-string thambi, a thrum linking last whimpers in peaks and troughs of harmony. It is not over. He croons, blood from the inkpot of antiquity, no spill for the quill of history. There we see coming, on one leg, a Rohingya Muslim. His smile as stone as a blanket on a cold winter's morning. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rochelle. Our next poet is Sanket. Please take the stage. Sanket became the first Marathi poet to represent and read at the Orissa Lit Fest. Could we get the clicker to Rochelle? Yes. Here you go. Yes. So, yes, he was the first Marathi poet to represent and read at the Orissa Lit Fest this year. Also the first Marathi poet whose poem was video recorded at the Habitat in Mumbai. He has read at prestigious literary events such as the Akhil Bharatiya Marathi Satya, Sammelan, GALF, Sisure, and Kavya Hotra. He curates crossover poems and directs the Kavita Cafe, which is a cinematic retelling of poetry. Could we have Sanket's slides go up, please?
नमस्कार सर्व जयपूरकरांचे समस्त आभार कविताओं के लिए अच्छे दिन आ गए बहुत सारे लोग दिखाई दे रहे हैं यहाँ पे फार महत्त्वाची गोष्ट आहे माझ्या कविता मी मराठीत प्रेझेंट करणार आहे आणि त्याचं ट्रान्सलेशन रोशेल पोटकरने इंग्लिशमध्ये केलं आहे जर का तुम्हाला कविता नाही कळली तरीही चालेल कविता फील करण्याची गोष्ट आहे वाचण्याची नाही तर तुम्ही फील करा We've seen a lot of earthquakes happening. We've seen a lot of natural disasters which are taking place today across the globe. And what I genuinely think is, somewhere the God is really angry. And why is he angry is what my poem tries to find out. आता निसर्ग. आता निसर्ग कुठल्याही क्षणी गोष्टी आपल्या हातात घेईल. आता निसर्ग कुठल्याही क्षणी गोष्टी आपल्या हातात घेईल. येईल कुठल्याही क्षणी वादळ, येईल कधीही सुनामी. नद्यांनाही पूर येईल किंवा भूकंप येईल आणि तडे जातील पृथ्वीच्या आत्म्याला. का? कारण सिरियामधल्या त्या लहान मुलाच्या 2 डोळ्यांच्या मधोमध जेव्हा बंदूक रोखून धरली हात ट्रिगरवर, तेव्हा तो एवढंच बोलला, वर गेल्यावर देवाला तुमचं नाव सांगेन. वर गेल्यावर देवाला तुमचं नाव सांगेन. मानवतेवर एवढं भीषण कधीच कोणी थुंकलं नव्हतं. मानवतेवर एवढं भीषण कधीच कोणी थुंकलं नव्हतं. त्यामुळे कारण शोधू नका, घड्याळं बंद पडली की. कारण शोधू नका, घड्याळं बंद पडली की. मुकाट्यानं, अगदी मुकाट्यानं झोपी जा. मुकाट्यानं, अगदी मुकाट्यानं झोपी जा. तुमच्या देहाला त्या लहान मुलाची हाक समजून, तुमच्या देहाला त्या लहान मुलाची हाक समजून. I see a lot of men in this country. I see a lot of men around me. And I also see a different kind of a man in this society today. रांडबाजारी पुरुषाला. ह्या रांडबाजारी पुरुषाला एक बाई नवरा म्हणते. ह्या रांडबाजारी पुरुषाला एक बाई नवरा म्हणते, एक ताई बाबा म्हणते, एक माई पोरगा म्हणते आणि समाज पुरुष म्हणतो. पण दुःख ह्याचं नाही वाटत. घरात असताना रांडबाजारी पुरुष फोन लावत असतो इतर बायकांना, भेटीची ठिकाणं ठरवत असतो. तो टेचात फिरतो उघडाबंब घरभर. बायको भरते रिटायरमेंट पर्यंतचे हफ्ते, सून चालवते घर खर्च. पण रांडबाजारी पुरुष बिनधास्त स्वतःच्या नावाची पाटी लावतो घराबाहेर. त्याचा अहम फुग्यासारखा घरभर पसरतो. रांडबाजारी पुरुष घराकडेही रांडेसारखंच बघतो, म्हणून त्याला कमी पडत असतं सतत प्रेमही संभोगही. पण दुःख ह्याचंही नाही वाटत. जेव्हा रांडबाजारी पुरुष बसतो फैलावून कुल्ले आणि पाय ठेवतो समोरच्या टेबलावर, तेव्हा कळतं की तो असाच बसत असेल इतर बायकांच्या घरातही. रांडबाजारी पुरुषाची सत्ता त्याच्या इतकीच रांडबाजारी असते हे अद्याप कळलं नाहीये कोणालाही. तो कुठल्याही बाईवर सहज ओरडून ओरबाडून घेऊन जाऊ शकतो घराची लक्तरं बॅगेत भरून, आणि तरीही दुसऱ्या दिवशी बाई घरात घेतेच त्याला. मुलगी हळवेपणानं बाबा म्हणतेच, सून चहा करून देते, आई वाढतेच जेवण जरा अधिक मोठ्या ताटात. घरही समजूत घालतं स्वतःची, पण दुःख ह्याचंही नाही वाटत. रांडबाजारी पुरुष सर्जनशील कवीसारखा वावरू लागतो घरात. सारं काही तसंच चालू राहतं. प्रश्नही तसेच हवेत तरंगतात. नात्यांचे सापळे तसेच कोरडे पडतात आणि मग रांडबाजारी पुरुष बाई, ताई, माई, घर, संस्कृती, प्रेम ह्यांना एक एक करून गॅलरीत उभा करतो. ह्यांना एक एक करून गॅलरीत उभा करतो. दररोज संध्याकाळी ह्याचं दुःख वाटतं, ह्याचं दुःख वाटतं. माझी तिसरी कविता तुमच्या सगळ्यांसाठी. I always imagine a place where all writers, all poets, everybody who's creative meets. For me, that's Valhalla, that's paradise. And I think I've seen a paradise today here. खरं तर माझ्या कवितेचं टायटल आहे तिथे भेटूया मित्रा, विच मीन्स लेट्स मीट देअर माय फ्रेंड. पण मला असं वाटतं की आय शुड चेंज इट अँड कॉल इट इथे भेटूया मित्रा. तिथे भेटूया मित्रा. तुझ्या माझ्यात जी हिरवी जागा उगवली आहे तिथे भेटूया मित्रा. तुझ्या माझ्यात जी हिरवी जागा उगवली आहे तिथे भेटूया मित्रा. जिथे अजूनही शेक्सपियर शेवटचा अंक लिहितोच आहे. जिथे अजूनही शेक्सपियर शेवटचा अंक लिहितोच आहे. जिथे तुकोबा कीर्तनात मग्न आहेत. जिथे मोने आपली फुलांची बाग सजवतोय. जिथे मोने आपली फुलांची बाग सजवतोय. जिथे सूर येतो मोजार्टचा अनपेक्षित लाटेसारखा. जिथे न्यूटन झाडाखाली बसलाय आकाशाकडे टक लावून. तिथे भेटूया मित्रा, तिथे भेटूया मित्रा. जिथे तुझ्या माझ्यातली आदिम खूण सापडेल, जिथे तुझ्या माझ्यातली आदिम खूण सापडेल, जिथे आपल्या दोघांमधल्या जाणीवा तरारून येतील यज्ञासारख्या, जिथे बालपणातली हरवलेली हिरवी पानं सापडतील, जिथे बालपणातली हरवलेली हिरवी पानं सापडतील, जिथल्या ढगांना आपण दिलेला आकार असेल, तिथे भेटूया मित्रा, तिथे भेटूया. जिथल्या झाडांच्या देठांना पुस्तकांची पालवी फुटेल, जिथल्या झाडांच्या देठांना पुस्तकांची पालवी फुटेल, जिथे तू हसल्यावर अक्षरच पडतील पानगळीसारखी आणि भिजवतील आपला सारा देह आपल्याच ओल्या चिंब झालेल्या अर्थांनी, जिथे तुला आणि मला इंद्रधनुष्य वाटून घेता येईल, तिथे भेटूया मित्रा, तिथे भेटूया. जिथे आपल्याला शोधत येतील आपल्यासारखे कुणीतरी, जिथे आपल्याला शोधत येतील आपल्यासारखे कुणीतरी, जिथे आपल्या भेटीची खूण म्हणून एक काजवा चमकत राहील झाडात, ह्या आणि पुढच्या जन्माआधी येणारे जे ठिकाण आहे, तिथे भेटूया मित्रा, तिथे भेटूया. थँक्यू सो मच. थँक्यू.
Thank you, Sanket. Our last poet in the Durbar today is Nirupama Dutt. Please take the stage. She's a poet, columnist, and translator, writing in English and Punjabi. Her recent works include the biography of Punjab's Dalit icon, The Ballad of Bant Singh, and a translation into English of Gulzar's anthology of poetry titled Pluto. She's published several books of poetry and prose. Nirupama.
I come to you with just a few poems in Punjabi, and since they're short, I'll include a translation. And Punjabi and Punjab is the home of poets like Amrita Pritam, Faiz Ahmad Faiz, Sahir Ludhianvi, who said, ना मुंह छुपा के जिए हम, ना सर झुका के जिए, सितमगरों की नज़र से नज़र मिला के जिए, गर एक रात कम जिए तो कम ही सही, क्या कम है कि मशाले जला के जिए. So it is in the backdrop of this defiance, jurrat, that I recite my poems, which are essentially personal, but they do touch the political. I begin with a signature poem. It's called Buri Aurat. जे तुसी मेरे शहर आओगे ते बुरियां औरतां दी फहरिस्त विच मेरा नाम भी दर्ज पाओगे. मेरे कोल वो सब कुछ है जो एक बुरी औरत कोल होना बहुत लाजमी होंदा है. हथ विच छलकदा जाम है, मेरा खिलंडरी हासा बड़ा बदनाम है. मुंह विच बलदी अग है, दिल तड़कदा है, थिरकदी मेरी रग रग है. दिल तड़कदा है, थिरकदी मेरी रग रग है. पैरां थल्ले सड़क है, ऊपर खुला आसमान है. मेरे कोल कहन दा हौसला है, मेरे कोल सहन दा हौसला है, मेरे कोल कहन दा सम्मान है. If you come to my city, you are bound to find my name in the roster of wicked women. I have all that it takes to be as wicked as they come. I have a goblet brimming over in my hand. My laughter is known for its abandon. Flames find a home in my mouth. My heart beats and every nerve does a little dance. The road is at my feet and just the sky above. I have the courage to bear and express myself without fear. We are all remembering Faiz, and two lines of Faiz which come to my mind, written in Pakistan of martial regime, martial law, was, these lines were, निसार मैं तेरी गलियों पे ए वतन के जहां चली है रस्म के कोई ना सर उठा के चले. So it goes on to say that even if a lover has to go out to meet his girl, he must hide his face. He must be stealthy about it. So I recite a poem, The Celebration of Life, in the openness of life. It is called Laughing Sorrow, Hasti Udasi. आज दी उदासी नू मैं कर हरगिज नहीं बिठाना है. इनू अपने चोले च पा, शहर दियां सड़कां ते निकल, इदा जी परछाना है. आज कॉफी हाउस दे वेटरां तो मुस्कुराहटां दा उधार लियाना है. कॉफी हाउस दे चपड़ासी नाल कोई पुराना मजाक दोहराना है. गुलमोहर दे पेड़ तो एक फुल चुरा के अपने वालां च लाना है. उदासी दूर करन दे जद सारे नुस्खे आजमा के मैं थक जावांगी ते कुड़ियां दे हॉस्टल दे सामने ढलान ते बैठ अपना सिगरेट सुलगावांगी. सिगरेट दी राख अज दी नज़म विच जरूर रल जाएगी. सिगरेट दी राख अज दी नज़म विच जरूर रल जाएगी ते पढ़न वालियां नू बड़ी चिड़ आएगी. वो कहणगे ऐ ते अमृता प्रीतम दे दौर दियां कवित्रियां दी सीमा है. बस एक सिगरेट ही उन्हां दा जीवन बीमा है. अपनियां सीमावां बारे सोच मैं होर उदास हो जावांगी. अपनियां सीमावां बारे सोच मैं होर उदास हो जावांगी. दोष तां खैर टुटे जे ढाई इश्कां दे ना ही लावांगी ते सबूते एहसास लभदी लभदी शहर दे शायर कोल जावांगी. उहदी एक जेब विच शराब दा अदिया होएगा ते दूजी विच जादुई नज़म दा कमाल. हौली जही मैं भी हो जावांगी नाल. वो मैनू जिंदगी दा एक अद्धा मंत्र सिखाएगा. वो मैनू जिंदगी दा एक अद्धा मंत्र सिखाएगा. अपनी नवी नज़म सुना के शराब छड़ देने दी कसम खाएगा. मैं भी नेक इरादियां दी फहरिस्त बनावांगी. मैं भी नेक इरादियां दी फहरिस्त बनावांगी. बस एक इश्क होर दी मोहलत मंग अखर अखर हो जावांगी. A few stanzas of this poem in English. I will not let sorrow sit still today in my home. Putting it into my jhola, I will take it along the city streets. Today I will steal a bright red gulmohar and put it in my hair, borrowing smiles from the coffee house waiter. A little joke with the library caretaker I will share. When all these tricks to cheer a sorrowing day fail, I will sit on the slope outside the girls' hostel and light my cigarette. The ashes will mix for sure in my poem today. Readers will get a chance to say I am all wrong. Such are the constraints of poetesses of Amrita Pritam's age. A cigarette is their only solace. Thinking of my constraints, I will be so pained, blaming it all on my wretched 2 affairs and a half. I will go to the poet of the city, looking for life sans restraint. He will have a bottle of rum, half a bottle of rum in one pocket, and a freshly written poem in the other. He will teach me a mantra or 2 of life, and reading his poem, promise to leave drinking for all times. I too will make a list of good resolutions, and seeking time for just one more love, I will turn myself into words. One short one more. I think Deval sahab aapko sunai hui hai. This is called Once More. एक बार और, once more. बस कुछ दिन होर तू एक बीमार रिश्ते नू खुशहाल परिवार दा इश्तिहार बना चौरस्ते ते लगाएगा. कुछ दिन होर परी दोपहर नींद दियां गोलियां खा के एक झूठा रिश्ता निभाएगा। बस कुछ दिन होर दोस्तां दी महफिल विच नाकामयाब बस कुछ दिन होर मैं दोस्तां दी महफिल विच नाकामयाब इश्क दे किस्से सुनावांगी। कुछ दिन होर खोखले ठहाकियां विच डूंगे दर्द छुपा चार्ली चैपलिन दी निक्की भैन दी भूमिका निभावांगी। इस वार जद असी सर्दियां विच मिलांगे साडा इंतज़ार पाक दे हनेरे कोने विच रखी बेंच नूं नहीं होवेगा। असी धुप विच चमकदे हरे घाह ते बैठांगे। मैं तेनू कुमार विकल दी ओ कविता सुनावांगी जिस विच प्रेमिका अपने प्रेमी नूं कहंदी है, आ अज दे दिन नूं पुलोवर दे वांग पा लईए ते हमेशा हमेशा लई ठरन तो बच जाए।
Thank you, Nirupama ji. We have about 8 minutes left, so I would love to have the audience ask our poets some questions if they have it. We have a volunteer with mics. If you could raise your hand, and we will find you over here. And please make sure your questions are questions and not statements. Yes.
Okay, my question is to you, sir.
Yes.
Sorry, I couldn't remember your name. I'm really sorry about that. Your presence was really amusing for all of us. My question is that, sir, that linguistically, like in Bollywood and other art forms, one particular genre is so much asserted, which does not leave space for any other genres to come in and people get more aware about it. Right. I've read certain literature from South which are amazing and which throws more light about society than other literatures from the same areas.
Right.
So what, according to you, can be done so that people get to know about more nuances of the society from different regions across the India, not just one particular region?
Right. So, first of all, good question. So, the whole idea is today Bollywood, although is just focusing on songs which are currently and commercially viable, Bollywood has also done some really spectacular work of unifying languages at a larger level. So, you would see the finer, nuanced Urdu today being accessible as a Bollywood song. You would see, terminologies which are used from Nepali, which are used from other languages, and they're kind of included or infused in Bollywood numbers. However, what really needs to be done is, we need to have lyricists of multiple languages take that center stage. If, let's say, there is a Marathi lyricist who's writing a Hindi song, he would bring all of the Marathi flavor into it. Let's say there is a Gadwali lyricist who's writing lyrics, he would bring a lot of Gadwal into his sensibilities. So what Bollywood really needs right now are not just songs which are catering to one particular language, but basically lyricists who are kind of multidimensional, and come from multiple languages so that they can bring that flavor of language right into the mainstream. That's what I truly think. Yeah, there's someone over there.
Yes, there's a hand up. Next to you, ma'am. Yes. Yes, sir.
My question is to Sanket Mahatre, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Actually, the poem which you read out, Flash.
Yeah, Flash.
Do you think the title of that poem should have been the name of that boy, Alan? What was his name? I just forget. Who was lying on the Syrian beach,
Yes.
which aroused the conscience of people all over the world.
Right.
That
right.
would have been better, to my mind.
Oh, thank you. I always feel really, really grateful to people when they kind of give poets the feedback. Generally, I love the fact when audiences complete our poem, because then it means that it's not just ours, it's theirs also. So thank you so much. I hope I will incorporate that. Yes, it is about the Syrian boy who said while he was dying, he said this, I'm going to tell God everything, and then he died. And I think it's one of the biggest and the most terrible, most painful lines spoken in today's century. However, the poem is not just about the boy, it's about what is affecting us at a global level. Why is it shifting so much? Why is nature revolting against humanity? Is because humanity is committing a bigger crime than it has understood. And my job as a poet was to focus on that crime and bring it to the table and say, hey, listen, this is not how you deal with kids. This is not how you deal with children. Children cannot be the collateral damage of any war. That is pissing off our God more and more.
This is a question for all my dear poets on the stage. It's not specific to anyone. I take poetry as a kind of catharsis, something which comes from the heart, and it's like written down in one go usually. I was just wanting to ask, how many of you actually write from the heart and how many write for an audience?
So basically, she's asking how many of you write from your heart?
And what's all?
And how many of you write for the audience?
Beethoven's last great work before the Ninth Symphony was his Missa Solemnis. It took him 7 years, and it was commissioned by his great patron, a young archduke, and he wrote on it, "From the heart, may it go to the heart." And I have a feeling that those are not alternatives, from the heart or for the audience, that one is muddled up in the other. If you're asking, I mean, this is a really important question, and everybody will be feeling different things about it. But if you're asking, are you writing to please people, that's a different thing. And I hope we all write from the heart, and not in order to please an idea that publishers or marketing managers or anything have. But we write from the heart to go to the heart.
It is from the heart, you see, from the heart and the head, from the heart it comes to the head. It's a combination of both, it cannot be just merely heart like we used to say ages ago, no. It has to be cerebral to a certain point, yes. We have to articulate, and articulation is essentially a cerebral activity.
We have 90 seconds. I do want to get one more question, if that's all right. Let me just, here you go.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask that you guys write out your heart in any respective language. So, does the translation lose the essence of what you write?
Okay. Why don't we, Rochelle, why don't you take that one?
If I get your question, does the translation take on the essence of the original poem?
And how do you take on the essence of the original poem?
I talk to the poet, befriend the poet, in this case, hang around with the poet, to understand him, his metaphysical milieu. And you breathe poetry, basically. You inhale it, it embodies you like a virus. You exhale it in either an original language or its translation. So I have never understood whether it's a very practical exercise. It's not. Poetry itself is not.
Translation is also, expressing your emotion. You get an emotion reading a poem. It's not cerebral again. So you best represent in the language, in the target language, what you felt reading the original. And there you have to be faithful to the units. That's a must.
You see, translating poetry, you gain something, you lose something. But what one tries to take care, that the language in which you are translating, it reaches out to the people.
Thank you, everyone. We are out of time, but thank you for coming to Poetry Darbar. I've had a blast. Happy Republic Day. A round of applause for all our poets here. Asiya Zahoor, Rochelle Potkar, Nirupama Dutt, AJ Thomas, Ruth Padel, Sanket Matre. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Ruth Padel, AJ Thomas, Asiya Zahoor, Rochelle Potkar, Sanket Matre, and Nirupama Dutt. And also Lakshya Datta for moderating and getting us, all the poets here every day. Ruth, AJ, Asya, and Nirupama are going to be signing their books. You can grab your copies, and if you have them, just line up outside Darbar Hall on your left. They'll